guys, so today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different video. Instead of showing you guys a card trick, I'm going to be showing you guys some card moves, sort of like cardistry. What I'm going to be showing you are some really cool one-handed cuts that you can do. And these are just really great for showing off your skill when you're just talking to the spectators casually. You can just be playing with the cards and you can do these really cool one-handed cuts, and the spectator will just see you doing these and they'll be like, wow, that's really, really impressive. So today I'm going to be showing you 3 different cuts that you can do with one hand, and I hope you like them. So the first one here that I'm going to show you is the easiest. It's called the Charlier cut, and it looks something like this. So it's just a one-handed cut, just like that. It's very simple. You can do it as many times as you want, and it's very, very fun to do. So without further ado, let's get right into how it's done. All right, guys, so here's the tutorial for the Charlier cut. So this is one of my favorite one-handed cuts because it's so easy to do. And once you learn this, you're gonna be doing this all the time. Like, I guarantee it. Once I learned this move, I pretty much never stop doing it. So whenever I hold a deck of cards, I'm always just constantly doing the Charlier cut because it's so addictive and so much fun to do. So let's get into how it's done. The position you wanna be in for this cut is you wanna be in what's called a straddle grip, which means it's a normal mechanics grip, but you wanna take your pinky and you wanna place it on the bottom edge of the cards like this. And one more thing is you want the cards to be sort of high up in your fingers. You don't want them to be down in your hand. You want them to be kind of high up, elevated in your fingers. So I believe the correct term for this is called elevated straddle grip. And the cards are going to be in this position right over here. So to begin, your thumb is just going to grab the side of the cards and your index finger is going to move down here to about halfway down. And it's just gonna break off about half the cards and it's just gonna lower them down into your hand like this. Once your index finger breaks off that half, it's actually gonna go underneath everything. It's gonna contact the bottom of the lower half. And what it's gonna do is it's actually going to be pushing up on that bottom half. So your index finger is going to push up until it touches your thumb that's holding the other half. Once you're in this position, once your index finger can't push this pack up anymore because your thumb is blocking it, what you're gonna do instead is take your pinky, ring, and middle finger and you're going to just extend them. This is going to cause the upper packet to clear the bottom one, and now it's going to contact the knuckle of your index finger right over here. And all you do now is curl your index finger in, and that packet is going to lower down. And then you just take your thumb and you just clamp it down, and then you bring everything together. You just close your hand together and then the cards will be cut. So that's basically it. One more time in slow motion. Looks like this. You cut it, put your index finger underneath, you push up, you take your fingers, extend them, and then you just curl your index finger in and then push up with your fingers or down with your thumb, and then everything will coalesce back together. So it looks something like this. And once you get the hang of it, you can do it pretty quickly. And if you really want to, you can also do it with both hands if you want to learn in the right hand as well, just like this, and it looks pretty awesome. So that is the Charlier cut, and now let's move on to the next one. All right, so the next one-handed cut that I'll show you is called the Revolution cut, and it looks something like this, where you cut the cards with one hand. It's pretty cool. You just take the cards, kind of spin them around and cut them like this, and it looks really cool. So let's learn how to do this cut. All right, so this next one is called the Revolution cut. I'll admit this one is a little bit tricky to do and it's going to take some practice. But to start out, you're gonna be starting out in the exact same position as the Charlier cut, so elevated straddle grip once again. What you're gonna do is you're going to use your index finger to cut half the cards once more. And then instead of putting the index finger underneath the bottom packet, you're actually just going to place it on the side of the top packet. And then once you're in this position, you're actually gonna be moving your pinky and ring finger and your middle finger to this new position over here. So you're gonna move your ring finger to the left edge of the top packet. So your ring finger is going to go all the way over here, and your middle finger is going to go to the bottom of the top packet. Then your index finger is just going to contact the side. And now the top packet is being contacted in this position over here. So it's being held between the index, middle, and ring. And once you're in this position, you're just going to be basically extending your ring finger, and that will cause the packet to swivel, and then your thumb is also going to be clamping down on the bottom packet here, which will then allow it to clear, and then you basically just place everything back together. So it's kind of hard to do it in slow motion because it's hard to do without dropping everything. But one more time, you cut it, you move your index finger here, then you reposition your 3 fingers. So pinky can just move out of the way, ring finger goes here, middle finger goes here, and index finger goes here, and your thumb goes on top of this bottom packet, and then you basically extend your ring finger and push down with the thumb, and then you just make everything go back together. So yeah, that's basically the revolution cut, and it will definitely take some practice. And one more tip is if the cards are falling all over the place, you just want to make sure your hand isn't angled down like this, because this will cause the cards to fall over. So make sure when you're doing this, your hand is positioned so it's perfectly balanced and gravity won't cause the cards to fall over on the floor. And that will make sure all the cards will stay in your hand. So yeah, that was the revolution cut, and now let's move on to the final cut. Okay, and the final cut that we're going to be learning today is called the scissor cut, which looks something like this. It's a pretty cool cut where you cut the cards along the longer edge of the cards, and it looks pretty cool. So let's learn how to do this cut. All right, so this is the tutorial for the scissor cut. So you start out in the same position once again. So all of these start out in the elevated straddle grip. But now, instead of taking your index finger and breaking off half the cards, you're actually going to be using your thumb to break off half the cards from the other side. So you're going to break off about half the cards from the front. Make sure when you break off the cards that the bottom half is going to be contacted by the pinky. So just make sure your pinky will be able to not get in the way of this top packet here. And once you're in this position, you're going to be holding this top packet only between the thumb and index finger, and the bottom packet will be held between everything else. So once you're in this position, you just take your thumb and you extend it as far as you can, and then you're gonna take your pinky and just try to extend that as far as possible. I also take my middle finger and push down. That will kind of lift that packet out of the way. And then once you're in this position, you basically lower everything down so that the thumb packet now goes underneath the other one. And that is the scissor cut. So one more time, you cut off about half the cards with the thumb. I move everything out of the way and I push down with the middle finger to clear that top packet. Once this is underneath, then I can square up everything together like this, and that is the scissor cut. So this one also does take a little bit of practice, and it also requires you to have somewhat big hands. Like, I don't even have that big of hands. It might look like I do, but I really don't have that big of hands. If I'm able to do this, then you guys are also probably gonna be able to do this. But if you can't do it right now, don't worry. Your hands might just need to grow a little bit, but then you'll be able to do this cut just fine. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be the video for today. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, learning how to do some cool one-handed cuts. I use these cuts all the time, just when I'm playing with the cards, but also when I'm just talking to the spectators. If I don't need to have a setup in the deck, I'll just be cutting the cards casually while I'm talking to them, and they always look at my hands and they always think it's really impressive. So I thought I should share these with you guys. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys next time. Bye.